Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world away, and today I'm going to be working on the next stages of the Fanhome release and build the Fast and Furious Nissan Skyline. Okay, let's have a talk about the Nissan Skyline. Now, I have got 4 stages here. As a matter of fact, I've got another pack down here which completes the vehicle. But I've come to realise now that doing these by pack is just putting far too much stress on me, and I'm trying to rush it, and especially when you get into the last stages here, I'm making mistakes, which I don't really want to do. So what I'm doing is I'm actually just going through these, seeing how much we've actually got to do, and if it means we're only doing one stage, I'm only going to do one stage. And that's what I don't really know until I've actually filmed it and seen how far we get through the filming. So today I am aiming to complete issue 101. I know in issue 102 we get to check the electrics out, so I'd like to do that, but if we don't get to that, that'll be another video. And then what I'm going to do is I want to hold off before, I believe it's this stage here, might be stage 103, where we piece them together, and that's where you come in. Now, Fanhome are going to be doing some replacements for some of these parts here, especially things like the petrol cap, which is just off camera there, because obviously the printing was slightly off, and they are going to be sending some parts out for that. Do I complete the vehicle before they come, or do I put it on hold until they come? Don't know. I'm going to have a poll for that, so make sure you look out for that. We'll find out what you want me to do. But as I said, today I am going to be working on 101. Now, I don't know if this is still available. I have put my links in the video description, and also the links that I originally used are on that QR code there. But without further ado, let's get cracking. Now, the fix that they're talking about coming is actually going to be the doors and things like this petrol cap here. As you can see, that's the problem with the printing on that. So let's see what we're doing. Stage 101. And there is a lot to do in these last stages, I'll tell you. Okay, so it looks like not much to do. The right headlights, we're going to be building these up here. We're going to be putting these into the car here. But then, once they're all mounted in, as you can see, we're then going to be taking this whole front suspension assembly here and putting that into place with the bushes and the drive shafts, getting it in, which means turning the car upside down, and then screwing this in from the top by the look of it. Then we're putting this brace over. I mean, there's loads to do. Absolutely loads. So at the end, that's how it's looking. Now, the bodywork still just lifts off the car. I'm not actually going to need that. So let me put that to one side. And we still haven't fitted this yet. So I've just disconnected this and taken this out. So what that leaves us with is this here, as you can see. So here is the headlights and some screws. Get them out. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking the reflector and putting them into this bracket. They go on this way. So it's fitting flush all the way around there. And it's held in with AP screws just from the back. And I need 2 of these. And one just on the other side here. Okay, bringing over the car here. Obviously, as you can see, we've got one in already. We're going to be putting one in here. We've already got the 3 bulbs coming out here. Red and white, green and black, and blue and red. It looks like the blue and red goes in here, then the red and white in the middle, and then finally the green and black on the end. Now I want to train this into position here. So what I did is I got rid of a lot of the excess in the wires here, so I can just get that into position there, and I'll hide these wires in a second. But I am going to secure this from the top with ZM screws. There we go, that's in position there. I'll hide these wires now. Perfect. Take the glazing here. That's going to be going over the top, just like that there. And that's held in with 2 SM screws. Again, I always find clear plastic to be quite brittle. So when I tighten this up, I don't do it too tight. Just enough to hold it in. 2 holes are in the middle here. Now, if you remember in the previous pack, we had the hood rod here, which we took out. We're going to be putting this back into place now. So hopefully you can see that. That's just slipped into there, into the holes in the side. Okay, this is where things are going to drive me crazy. We're going to be taking out something that we've already put in. So I'm turning this upside down. And we're basically going to be removing this, which is the steering idler. Now it says I can discard the screw that I take this out with. So I've taken that off. looking like that. Just put this to one side, and I'm bringing up the front suspension, as you can see here, and I'm going to want to put this onto this lug just there, like that. Now it's being held in with an AIM screw. This is a flanged AIM screw, and there you go. It should be loose in there and be able to move, but that screw is in all the way there. Put that to one side, bring over the car again. Now we're going to be fitting these drive shafts now. So these came, back in pack 17 or something, so you're going to need to go through your past stuff. There is a difference between them. One's longer than the other, as you can see. So I've got this gaiter here, which is going to be going over this section there, way down. Let's do the same on the other side here with the other one. Then I've got the long drive shaft coming on this one here, like that. Put this one in this side. And the way you actually want them is so that they're going to be angled down, but with these ends here sort of straight, if that makes sense. So that's how it should look both sides there. And then the fun part is I'm going to be putting this into place. So it's going to go on this way. And what I'm going to do is line up these holes with this part of the axle. And I'm being very gentle here. At the same time, this steering idler, I need to make sure that's in position as well. But that seems to have gone in absolutely fine. Now, before I attach or screw in anything here, I want to get these drive shafts in where they're going to go, into the knuckles. Perfect, so they're connected in. Now it's all going to be held in with CM screws, so what I'm going to do is get them ready. So we're going to want to put this into place, but I first want to make sure that I have got this all lined up to where it needs to be. So I've got my mobile camera up and a pointing device, just to show you how this is going to be sitting. So the bracket here is going to be going in there, which leaves the suspension here. It's going to be going into the hole just at the bottom there. I've already loaded a CM screw up, and I need that in a minute, because once I've got them in position, I need to put this here into place. So these CM screws are going to hold this in. So let's put these two in first, because these are the two we can see quite easily. I've then got two at the back. I've got one down the middle here. And then I want to turn this over, being very gentle. And I want to put two in just behind this mount here. This is where that suspension was mounted, not the suspension rod, that bracket that you saw. If you put your finger in from the underside, that'll help to connect that. So one in that side there. And then just do the same on this side. And get that in nice and tight. Now I want to make sure that the suspension is lined up into the holes underneath the suspension mounts at the top here. So on that side. I know what these are because my car needed these replaced recently. That's good. We're going to be putting this over the top here. So one in this side, one in this side, like that. And then I want an EM screw, which is not only going to hold this in, but it's also going to go into that suspension shock absorber. You find if you actually hold the shock absorber and push up, it will give you that extra little bit of clearance you can get to make that nice and tight. This would be the sort of thing that will stop that bonnet going down if you don't put this in flat. Do the same on the other side. And there you go. That's now locked into place. Let me turn the car over again. And I want to bring now a YM flange screw. And that's basically going to be taking the steering idler onto the position that we just took it out of and secure that into place. Make that nice and tight, that one. Perfect. Okay, you might notice on these sections here and here there's some holes. That's going to be for this, what they call in this? They're calling this the rear steering box support. So just get that into place, one that side and one on this side, and push that down. into position. Very tight, but that's in. All I've got then is a chassis central tunnel support, which is going to go on here, just like that. That's held in with one SM screw here, but an AP screw here. Two different screws. Now to finish this up, they just want to make sure that we've put cable R in, which is the speaker, which I've done. So at the moment now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 things connected. Now I ignore what the picture in the instructions showing you. All we've connected at the moment is the 3 lights at the front, which is the green and black, the red and blue, and the red and white leads. So they're already in, and they're in positions M, N, and is that V? U? V? Let's have a look at this sticker. It's V. And then I've just connected the speaker, which is R. So at the moment I've got 4 things connected here. That's all there is to do in that stage. So let's move on to stage 102. And I think we'll finish up here because I know this is going to be a really big one. So we've got a couple of things here: wire fastener and light test. So what we're basically going to be doing is we're going to be putting together the last of the parts here for the dashboard, putting this into the internal floor pan with all the seats and stuff like that. It looks like we do get to mount this in the vehicle at the moment. I'm putting the back end of the vehicle on like this. There's a lot to do, as you can see. And then once it's all together, I am going to be able to test it. Oh, this is going to be fun. Once that's all been tested, I am going to be putting the steering wheel together and then putting the steering wheel into place as well. There's a lot going on in this issue. So here we go. These are all we get in stage 102. So it doesn't look like a lot. There's a lot to do though. Now this dashboard shouldn't actually be in place at the moment. If you remember, when I put this in, I just put it in with an odd screw here, just so I knew where it was going. I'm going to take that out now because it's going to get confusing to you thinking that I've actually had this in place, which I haven't. Okay, a bit confusing, but we're going to be taking something else out now, which is this bracket here on the dashboard. I don't like having to take things out which we've already got in. It's the bane of my life with these builds. Okay, so let's get that one out like this. That bracket there. So now this section here, which is the multimedia housing, I can just get this out here. I want to remove these screws which are holding this into place. I've got no idea why we're doing this. We do want to keep the screws and the parts aside, but I also want to detach, oh god, like everything's falling out. I want to detach this front section here. I'm guessing it's because we've got this replacement here. What is the difference between these replacements? I have got no idea. I think it's to do with the lugs on each side. These are quite thick compared to this. So it's this that we're actually replacing, but there isn't really a lot of difference apart from the tabs on the end here. Let's get this off, and then I'm going to replace that with the new one. Just like that. So I want to put this multimedia system back together again. So I'm going to put that in there and then put this back on. That's perfect. Get this into position back into the car, and to ensure we've got it right, if we put it in this way, so we can ensure that that's going to be nice and flush on the top, and I'm holding that in while I get the bracket again, which is what keeps this in place. I am going to need this bracket to go underneath the LED cable here. There you go. And then screw this in. So all of that was just so we could replace this. Okay, let's have a look how it looks. Just like that. Perfect. Okay, this dashboard is now going to be going permanently into the floor pan. So I want to pass these cables through the floor, just like this, so that I can then get this into position just here and here. Now it's going to be held in with CP screws, and what you do is you have a located lug on the back one to go in, and then a CP screw just through the front here. And then do the same at the other side. Again, making sure this is seated perfectly flat and tight, because again, this is going to restrict when we put the bodywork together otherwise. Now we're going to be working on just tidying some of these wires up now. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a cable tie around first. I'm doing it different to what the instructions say. I've got these little cable ties here, but I want to make sure that I will have enough excess that when this rises up, that I can still put it down without it not wanting to shut, as you can see. I think what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to leave this one out of it, because if I was to cable tie that up, it is just going to restrict everything. But I am going to take cable tie the other 3 wires up. So I'll do that now and I'll show you what that looks like. I'll show you on the top camera, as you see, that's there. So when I lift this up, this isn't impeding anything at the moment. But what I'm going to do then is I'm going to cable tie this here now. So I've got those 3 together. And again, it's not impeding that wire at all. As you see, we do have this sort of clearance because of how big these are here. So if I was to use cable ties instead, which is what I plan to do, I'm still going to be inside that tolerance for this to be able to seat flat. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually create myself a wiring loom by taking these wires and creating a loom out of it. So all of these wires need to go above this bar here. So it's going to go round that way. If you have them inside the bar, you're going to be able to see it from the inside of the car. If you look at this, I've got wires 14 here, and on this side should be 15, I'm guessing, which is 15. We actually put these down with tape, as you can see here. Dad wants me to remove the tape here, so just doing that now. Okay, so the way these are going to go is this wire here, which I'm just being very gentle with, and then I'm going to want this to be going out of the side of the car here, and I'm going to do the same around this side as well. So this whole wiring loom that I've got now is actually just going to be going out the back. So I'm going to continue making a loom out of this. So as you can see, I have taken my time on that. I just wanted to make sure that they're all going down here. They're all secured into place. And I've got these wires here coming out of the sides just like that. Okay, that's good. I can put that to one side. And now I'm bringing over, look at that, front of the car. We're going to be putting this into place. Now, what it wants me to do is to actually remove something else we're removing, these now. And it says what we want to do is get your tip of your screwdriver and push the lugs at the back. And as you can see, they just drop out. Just like that. Put them to one side and I can bring the car over now. And I now need wires G and L looking like this. So the way this is going to be is this is actually just going to be sitting kind of like on top there with the indicator coming out the front, but then we've got this side indicator here, and it's going to be the same on the other side. So I need to plan how I'm getting these in. Now they need to be, now we don't need that much excess for them, so I'm only going to leave just an amount there that will enable me to plug this long end into the front of the car. So I'm going to put some tape down to keep this in place. And this tape is temporary at the moment. We'll probably think of a better fix afterwards, but that just keeps that where it needs to be. I'm thinking, before we get to that stage, that I'm going to need more of the excess on this side bit than this front bit, because this front bit should be quite easy to get in. Okay, let's put the one in the other side. As you can see, exactly the same way there. Then I can get to put this front on and making sure. So I want to guide these LEDs through the holes here. One there, and just the one on this side. That's good. And then wiggle this into position. So it should fit nice and flush around there, which mine is. That's good. I'm holding it in with BM screws, and it's actually where the indicators are. There is a screw hole for this to go. So one in this side. Do the same on the other side. Perfect. That's on. And now I've done that, I can actually put these lenses back into place. So make sure we put the LED in the back and then clip this in here. So this is the right hand side one. It should go quite far back in there. Do the same on this one. Hopefully on the top camera, as you can see, they're in like that. Let's just put the lenses in. And there you go, with the lenses in, they look like that. So now we know that they're in, I'm going to really go to town to put some tape around here to hide the wire, but also to give as much access to this side piece as I can. Is I'm trying to make sure that this wire is not going to impede that screw hole. You just know that's going to come back to bite me otherwise. So that's one side done. Let's do the other side. So the way we're going to be doing these wires in the middle now is any wire that has got these dew point connectors at the end, we want to be coming out of this side. Everything else is coming all the way down the vehicle here. So the goal that I've got here is to ensure that these dew point wires that we've got is I've got as much length coming out of this side as I can get. Okay, so all the plugs are in here, all my dew point cables are coming out here. So we are going to be able to test some of these. So what I'm going to do is plug these back into the board. You do have to remember that the polarity is important of these. So if I'm holding it this way with a port on the top, I want the black leads to go along the bottom, the red leads to go along the top. Bring over the passenger compartment floor now, which is going to go on here. And as you can see, I've got some other ones that I can plug into this board that are on the side. So this is going to be another 2 leads, 14 and 15 I get to plug in. And you see there isn't much room to move around in here. And this is why it's going to be invaluable to use Mike Lane's mod for this. But as you can see, they're all in there, into the position there. Now what Mike Lane's mod does, as you can see, it makes it into this absolutely lovely wiring loom to make things a hell of a lot easier for you. But I'm not going to do that at the moment because we're just testing it at the moment. And I'm going to plug the rest of these leads in now. Okay, so the batteries, if you remember, if we take this section off here, are in there. So I can replace them should they need doing. What I'm going to do, put that on and turn this on. Okay, first what I'm going to do, let's get my phone, is the light here. So when I push that on, as you can see, the lights come on there. And we've got the neon underneath there. We've got some neons inside the car there, both sides, as you can see. And let's just check that that neon's working on the other side as well, which it is. And at the back, which it is. So the test inside as well, they're all on there. And then when I lift this up, that's on as well. Perfect. Okay, so basically the 3 lights that we've got at the front here are, if I show you these, we've got 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. So they're all working perfectly. Now some things we can't actually test because we haven't got the back of the car on yet, but we should be able to do the indicators. As you can see, they're working that side. And go around the other side here, and they're working that side. Let's quickly do a horn test. Start the car, and then press this accelerator pedal. Perfect. Turn the car off, put the hazard lights on, so now they should be both blinking. That's good, and that is everything tested. Everything works. I'm happy. Now we haven't mounted that floor pan into place at the moment, mainly on account we're going to be working with this steering now. So what I'm going to want to do is first off put this bracket on the steering wheel here. There is lugs either side. This is then going to be going, it has got a flat section here, into the steering wheel like that. It's going to be held in with an AM screw. Now this is an extremely tight fit in there, but you do want to make sure that goes all the way in, because if it doesn't, then what's going to happen is it's going to be too long on this end. Once we're happy with that though, then I can put this front on. That's going to hide the screw hole there. So I can get to put the steering wheel into place. So I put this down here. It needs to go onto that steering shaft there, as you can see. And I'm going to hold that in with the 2 BM screws. Now, just so you know, even though I've now attached that, I still haven't put this interior in at the moment. But it is held in because of this steering wheel at the moment. Everything works. I'm pretty happy with how that's turning out at the moment. But that's all there is to do in that stage. That's all I'm going to do today. Can you see what I mean about today? So I've done stages 101, 102, and that has taken me 2 hours. That's how meticulous I was to ensure that everything is fully into place, because I don't want any problems with, which I've seen, things like bonnets not closing properly or anything like that. All my electrics are working absolutely perfect. If I'm being honest with you, with the Mike Lane mod that I'm going to use, which is going to make things a hell of a lot easier, the way I've done it, I don't think I would have needed it anyway. I think I've got enough wire out here that I should be able to connect both together anyway. I just want to see what's in stage 103. It looks like in 103 is when we actually get to piece this car together, which is what I don't want to do at the moment. So I am going to hold off wait for the results of the poll and see what you want me to do. So check out for a poll. It's going to find out what we're going to do anyway. I really hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.